the recording would work, because I could hear the sound in the back, which usually indicates it's recording, not streaming. Oh, it was doing neither.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you noticed me last time, I never sat down for the first half of the meeting, and then it streamed off my phone. But guess what? Daryl fixed it.
Oh, Daryl.
Good a man.
Computer genius.
Yeah, thank goodness. I was like, yes. Yes.
It must be nice to have all that computer
Working out of my office.
No, there's no room for anything else. It's super
Just computer wires.
convoluted anymore.
It's like that server downstairs.
And now
No matter how cold it gets anymore, I'm always hot. So
Oh yeah, you're funny. I'm always cold.
went to that football game the other day. It was the last one
Oh
they
yeah.
had there. And I was in shorts and I wore a sweater, hoodie. And I was like, hey, it's not that bad. When I got home, my fingers burning. I didn't realize that.
Say we were going to go, and then I got out of the car, and I thought, no, my days of that stuff were over.
Okay.
Of course, I've been out sitting there elk hunting for the last week too. So
Maybe I just thought of it. No?
Did you?
No? It.
Sits at my desk. Because they
Oh,
eat
weird.
all my-
I did. At 2:42, it says I said. It was between us
Oh,
three.
packages at least.
Nope.
Weird.
No, the only one I got was Derek. He's from Philly.
Yeah.
It's the only one I got.
Oh, weird. Well,
My big thing is
You know, my likeness too. I don't eat them a lot myself in here, but they at least through my papers, right? Usually if I don't eat them, if I don't eat them, I'll throw them in bills and stick them in the right.
He's not. We're rolling. He wants it to mix.
Person.
He can't read it. Because he can't read it. You shouldn't be doing anything about it.
Getting close to that year
This one here, too, that's I'm here for home. I thought I got mild stuff. I didn't know it to you.
Our accounts receivable and our payroll are all equal. So even then we can say no, and then that would be really dumb because no one works there. They are.
I have no idea. I don't know what goes. I was told I can't see them until
Because it's done before.
Okay.
I don't know why it's so long. I don't know. I didn't do that last week because I thought last week started. Well, yeah, I thought last week I think
I thought for sure we were trying to get away from having meetings not in our meetings. Nope. Buttons.
It's always a
It's
dumb
that.
technology.
It's that is so true.
My favorite, one day I called the lady and I was like, hey, she was having issues with the computer, and I said, all right, well, you turned it off.
I won't
She's like,
thank
yeah,
you
turn it
again
off.
for
I
starting
turned it back on. I
meetings
was
at
like, okay, what put it up? She says, it just says, no display and Dell. And I said, that's probably a monitor. Have you reset your computer? And she goes, yeah, I reset it. And I said, okay, do it again. Until when it pops up. She does it.
it wasn't plugged in.
No, same thing, comes up. And I said, yeah. I was like, well, she's like, it just won't turn on. So I went to her house. And I said, okay, where's your computer at? And she was right there. I said, that's your monitor. Where's the computer? And she goes, I thought that was a computer. Reached under the desk and hit the power button and it turned on.
Oh.
It's like, no, it's okay.
Oh, here's your problem.
Yeah.
No, there's nowhere to stick a disc, sorry.
The all-in ones have solved a lot of issues because it's all right.
It's right there in front of you.
Yeah, so this is how much it's gonna cost now to fix it, so as soon as I get it fixed, you better have some money for me.
No, it was fine. We laughed and I left.
Here's your
bill.
No, not on that one. I felt bad.
My computer and my monitor is all in the same unit.
They're great until you have to work on them. You gotta,
Trying to get into them.
yeah, you have to peel the monitor.
They're always great for me because then you have to work on it.
Yeah.
So true. I can operate them, but I ain't gonna touch the
I
fixing
can't
part.
even do that.
It used to take 5 minutes to replace any part. Now it takes
Testing.
5 minutes just to get
Modern.
to the part. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the biggest issue.
Wake up.
Pick up, Mike, it's time.
Time to be at city council. He said he'd be late. All right, it is 6 p.m., so we'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Lynn, will you do roll call, please?
Madam Mayor Jacqueline Wells,
Here.
Vice Mayor Gerald Garner,
Here.
Councilmember Derek Elliott, Councilmember Tanya Lumen,
Here.
Councilmember Terry Patterson,
Here.
Councilmember Steve Sanger,
Here.
Councilmember Bruce Seeloff.
Here.
Thank you.
All right, moving down to the approval of the agenda. Councilmember Singer?
I move to approve the October 21st, 2025 City Council agenda as presented.
Second.
All right, the motion's been made and seconded to approve the October 21st, 2025 City Council agenda as presented. Any discussion? Lynn, when you're ready, will you open online voting, please?
Online voting is open.
I'm gonna voice vote. Yay.
Online voting is closed. The motion passes with 6 yeas.
All right, moving down to the approval of the consent agenda. Councilmember Singer.
I move to approve the city consent agenda of October 21st, 2025 as presented.
Second.
Okay, the motion's been made and seconded to approve the City Council consent agenda of October 21st, 2025 as presented. Any discussion? All right, Lynn, will you open online voting, please?
Online voting is open. Online voting has closed. The motion passes with 6 yeas.
Okay, moving down to a public hearing. And this public hearing is for the ordinance approving the second reading and waiving the reading of the ordinance amending Title 19, Section 19.08285, Junkin Section 19.8290, Junk salvage wreckage yard, adding in section 1908-265, impound section 1908-266, impound yard section 19.08.603, salvage yard section 19.08721, towing business section 19.08722, towing yard and section 19.08759, wrecking yard and clarifying section 19.28020, schedule of uses, and section 19.40.050 fences. Anybody here to speak on this matter? Okay, seeing none, I will close that public hearing and move down to citizens' participation, which is a time set by resolution number 2C 1996, and it sets a time limit of 5 minutes, with the provision that the 5-minute time limit may be increased at the request of a member of the public or any council member. Is there anybody here that would like to speak on something that is not on the agenda? Okay, seeing none, we will move down to board appointments and presentations. And the first thing is to approve a shooting range advisory board alternate appointment. Do I hear a motion? Councilmember Sanger.
I move to appoint Reese Irvine to the Shooting Range Advisory Board as a second alternate for the unexpired term ending June 30th, 2027.
Second?
Okay, the motion's been made and seconded to appoint Reese Irvine to the Shooting Range Advisory Board as a second alternate for the unexpired term ending June 30th, 2027. And Reese, would you like to come up and tell us why you're interested in being on our board?
Thank you, Mayor and council members. Primarily, I coach the 4-H shooting program, or part of it, and we've built that program up in the last 4 years from 4 kids to 36 just in the 22 program, and I think that program affects about 60 youth in our community. So my primary goal is just to make sure that we're maintaining those opportunities for youth out at the shooting ranges.
Great. Thank you,
Awesome.
Reese. Any discussion? Lynn, will you open online voting, please?
Online voting is open. Online voting has closed. The motion passes with 6 yeas.
All right, welcome aboard, Reese. And I have a little welcome. I wouldn't totally call it a gift, but thank you. All right, moving down to the Community Builder Award for October 2025. And I'd like to invite the members of the volunteer committee up to present the award.
Madam Mayor and Council, the Community Builder Award is a monthly award the city presents to local individuals, businesses, and organizations for their volunteer service, sponsorship, promotion of programs and events, outstanding service and interest to the city, and for other contributions significant to the Rawlins quality of life. The Volunteer Committee would like to present the October 2025 Community Builder Award to Tim Hoffman.
Councilman, I'm Randy Flamig. I'm interim rec director, and I would like to say some things about Tim Hoffman. I've been here for 5 years, and I've seen Tim. First time I saw Tim was I went in to ask for money from him for donations for rec center for programs, and Tim has been so gracious every time I've asked him to help out and do things. I thought I was loud enough, I'm sorry. To do things for the community, he always does. Him and his family do that. I asked him some questions and about what he does for the community, but let me give you some history of Mr. Hoffman. We'll get some dirt on him here, okay? Let me back up here, get my notes here. Hang on for a second. Tim Hoffman's here in town. He came here a long time ago. But he owns Hoffman and Ramsey CPAs with a business partner, Cassandra Ramsey. Tim's credentials include he graduated from Penn State in 1991. He's an 81. He's a Nittany Lion. I'm a Cornhusker fan, I'm sorry. But became a licensed CPA in Pennsylvania in 1986, where he worked in the industry, school district, and public accounting in the Philadelphia area from 81 to 1995. And he moved here in 1995, is that correct? Okay. And bought Page and Heller CPA in 1996. When his past board information that Tim's done, why we're voting him in as a Community Builder Award this month, is that he's done a lot of things in the city, in this community. He's past boards he's been on as a Rawlins High School Booster Club, a swim team rep, First United Methodist Church Financial Board, as a USA Swimming official, that was as a volunteer, and officiated meets across Wyoming, things he's done in the past here. Currently, Tim is a board of directors for the R&B State Bank. He's United Way as a treasurer since 1996. In Kiwanis, he's a club secretary, Kiwanis member since 1996. Vice president, the High Country Behavioral Health, formerly the Carbon County Counseling Center. And he's the president of the Rochelle Ranch Golf Advisory Board and treasurer of the Carbon County Economic Development. We all think we have a lot of hats. I think Tim has a lot of them here, for sure. So Tim owns the CPA here in town. His credentials include all this stuff I just mentioned. And he also, when he was in Pennsylvania, he also worked in the industry, in the school district, public accounting, in the Philadelphia area, and so forth. And he moved to Wyoming in 1995 and bought the business. So, I asked him some questions. I said, what do you do for the Rawlins community? Simple answer. He says, I give back to the community. What do you appreciate about Rawlins? He says, the people. There's a lot of good people here. In your opinion, what are the key ingredients for creating a vibrant, connected, and engaged community? Availability. Just like all of you up front here. You're available to be on the board and do things. What do you see the biggest challenge facing communities or Rawlins to participate? More volunteers. I think that's nationwide. I think that's worldwide. What are you most proud of the terms of service with your community in Rawlins? He says he's been lucky enough to give time to help many organizations in Rawlins. Very fitting. But once again, Tim, a very well-deserved award for the Community Builder Award. Congratulations on your hard work, vision, and leadership, and continue to inspire everyone around you. Thank you, Tim. Did you want to say something? Yes, you want to say something? Go ahead.
Thank you very much, Mayor, City Council. Privileged and honored to have this award. Thank you very much. Since I moved here, I've always had that attitude of give back a little bit when you can. And again, in my line of work, I've been able to do that, take the time when I can. Sometimes you wonder, because every time I turn around, it seems like I got another board meeting to go to. It comes with the territory. Say, when I first got here, it was Kiwanis and United Way, that kind of thing, very small, wasn't too busy. I started helping out when the kids were doing sports, got into the swim officiating, which became more of a job than you ever knew, but I did get to see the whole state pretty quick. But like I said to Randy, it's always a privilege to be able to give back to your community. It builds the community, it helps your community. Biggest thing if anybody in this town can do is give your time, give it. We're always very willing at the firm too to help out when Randy comes knocking, or some of the kids come to our door and say, hey, we're doing this. And it's like, as long as they show up and ask, we're usually pretty helpful with what these guys are doing. So again, thank you. I'm humbled for having received your award. Thank you.
Sure.
All the family.
There's this too. Get your kids up here to hold it. You guys get up here? You guys want to hold this?
So you're gonna have to back up way.
Everybody in there.
Congratulations to you.
Discussion
Congratulations, Tim. It's very well deserved.
All right, let's go.
All right, now we're going to move down to reports and information, and our first thing is the Fire Commission Annual Report Update. And I will invite the fire commissioners up to give us their update, if you'd like.
Good evening,
You
Madam
could go
Mayor
stand
and
down
Council.
there. Yeah.
No, what's he up to now?
He's going to help.
come join you, you're not going to get away with this by yourself.
Okay. For those of you that don't know, my name is Mark Pappenheim. I'm the chairman of the Fire Department Civil Service Commission. And since my last update with you, we have, much to your coordination as well, approved and implemented a new set of bylaws, several civil service rules. And in that time frame, we've had about 10 meetings. We've had 4 meetings this year. And we have thankfully had a very good new testing session under the new bylaws. We did change some items in the testing process. They're still compliant with all of the state rules, but we had a bunch of semantic stuff we wanted to change. That was changed. We've updated the new hire policy, and we have changed and updated the promotional process. Along the way, we have put a lot of load on Chief Allen. And all of us on the commission want to thank him and Lynn both for all of their groundwork. They're keeping us up to date, in line, much like all of you. Lynn is a very good organizer and keeping our toes to the line, so much appreciated. But along the way, Chief Robinson did a lot of research with a lot of other departments in the state and attended hire sessions at some of the other community departments and learned a lot. And he brought that back to Rawlins. He battled very vehemently for what he believed in, what we needed to do to move towards the future. We have had a lot of problems with new hire tests and promotional tests since the onset of COVID. It seemed like a lot of these testing agencies shut down all the tests they had except for big metropolitan type departments. They didn't fit for us. So Chief Robinson brought some new fresh ideas. We hashed them back and forth, decided they were a good course to follow, and we voted for them. And likewise, you did too. The process has worked well, and along the way, we found some cost savings for the city. So, not to toot the commission, toot our own horns, but the fire department in the city will get to reap a little bit of savings along the way as we test for new firemen and for promotions. And I just want to let the chief talk about his good work for a minute, because he did a lot, including buying us dinner. So he did a great job.
Madam Mayor and Council, the dinner was very small out of everything, but no. Anyway, so we'll start with the new hire process and move through the promotional testing we do. Cost savings is about $1,000 every time that we test for new hires. With the process that we went to, it's now an online test where candidates actually go on, they fill out their own application. The nice part of that is we do the city process of the hiring opening, the job opening, we just basically link our job posting with, it's called the National Testing Network. They links us to that, and they actually send it out to a whole bunch of people too, those kind of things. These candidates actually pay their own money to take a test. And once they do that, if they pass, we can actually set the score where they are accepted. Then those candidates come to us, and we can actually, we eliminate the actual written taking test part of it we have of our process. So they've already done that. So the people that we're inviting here to actually test for us are just here to do the physical fitness test, and we don't. Traditionally, if we had 10 people that started out to do our test, half of those didn't pass the written, and then we're down to 50% at maximum on the physical fitness testing and those kind of things. So it's all laid out, worked really, really well. I don't remember all the numbers of people, how many we had for our new hire testing this last time, but worked very well. The promotional testing process, like Mark said, I went to and visited other departments and sat in on their assessment centers. Was part of the actually asking the questions and evaluating and those kinds of things. Was able to collect some very good information from which I actually built our rubrics as far as how we were going to score each candidate, those kind of things, so everybody's on a fair and equal playing field. Built this really big, cool spreadsheet. You put all these numbers in it to calculate. It's kind of fun to work on some of that. But with that process, it includes a three-part process. One, there is a written test for those candidates they're promoting. There is a practical portion of it, and then there is a physical. It's not physical. It's the
Raw interview.
Yeah, the interview stuff. I'm sorry, too many testing procedures in my brain. Anyway, so those out of those three segments, then their combined score is what their total evaluation is based on, those kinds of things. And we had a very successful testing earlier in the year with that, and the one candidate who was chosen out of that is still working on the last. There's check boxes they have to make sure before they're fully promoted. So we're waiting on some. It's a state certification he's working on right now to be able to make him eligible. But other than that, I think that process worked very well. Those kind of things. So I'm very happy with everybody's efforts in that. I'm not a one-man show here. There was a lot of people involved, and we had a lot of meetings and discussed lots of things. So thank you.
Thank you.
But again, he brought dinner. And cookies.
Especially cookies.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions of us?
I don't, but I do have some thank you cards for your board.
Thank you. Thank you.
And of course, Alan, thank you for all you do. And no problem. You're always so humble.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Councilmember Patterson. All right, moving down to city manager and staff reports. I will turn it over to you, Matt.
Well, good evening, Mayor, Council. It's great to be here, and thanks for the opportunity. It's been an informative 2.5 weeks, I guess. I'm counting 3. I'm kind of erring long, but anyway, it's been great to get to know a lot of the staff members, particularly the department heads, and just see how the professionalism and a lot of the information really that I'm getting every day from all those folks, and so that's been a good experience. We had our department head meeting this morning, and so I was just going to give a few updates as far as that goes from the staff. As many of you know, we have hired, or we offered and she accepted to hire a new finance director, Laura Malone from Cheyenne. We expect her to start Monday, November 3rd, and we haven't heard otherwise, so we're still planning on that. She is formerly with Cheyenne Laramie County Public Health for 4 years, and before that I think she had quite a long stint with the Boys and Girls Club of Cheyenne, so we're hoping that she brings a lot of expertise as we kind of work through the finances. On that note, Beverly and I have been working with the auditors to bring any of the remaining outstanding materials they needed so they can complete the audit for our fiscal year, so we can have that hopefully done before the end of the year and stay on target, at least as far as they're required by the state to get that in. Ideally, we'd like to have that and maybe some of the other low-hanging things done in the finance department before Laura gets here to kind of ease her burden when she shows up. Next week, of course, Halloween, and we have on the 31st between 3 and 5 p.m. We're, of course, closing the downtown streets from 3rd to 6th. I believe everyone got kind of the orange paper, and it has the list of events. After that, then you can either go to the rec center for the free skate night, or the I believe it's the police officers and are handing out the candy at Bolton Park, Washington Park, and Rob Roy Park, and each of those kind of at progressively different times. And of course, all of you are encouraged and welcome to come out for those festivities. Next week on Thursday, or Wednesday and Thursday, the golf course is officially closed, and so we're going to go ahead and cover the greens for the winter. And I think that's talk about volunteerism. We hope to get some volunteers out for that to help with that. Randy was promising lunch, so we'll see how that goes. But anyway, welcome to join us for that. Then on looking a little bit further down the road, Wednesday, November 5th, there's going to be the Aging in Place Summit, and I don't know if any of you have gotten this packet yet. This is through the EPA Brownfield Grant Program. The City of Rawlins and the Ayers Associates is working to explore redevelopment opportunities to address senior needs, study of local trends related to aging populations in Rawlins. And a greater area was conducted identifying that there are existing and projected needs for expansion of senior care facilities. So we encourage some local involvement on that. That'll be Wednesday, November 5th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Depot, 400 West Front Street. So I believe that's circulated. As far as just back on myself and my first shot out of the gate, I've been able to meet one-on-one with all the department heads. I'm trying to make some of the rounds to meet the staff at their locations, Public Works. I still got to go take the big tour of the wastewater facility. I plan on doing that next week, and then I have a date with the fire department on the 5th when they do their shift change to go and meet with the firemen there. So I'm hoping to get all of those touches done, and getting around to that, I've had the opportunity to meet with a few of you, mostly here, but I will be here all next week, and I looked at my calendar and I look over at Lynn. I don't think I have anything really scheduled, so I'm happy to set up any kind of appointments. I'd like to get a chance to meet with each one of you and talk about some of the expectations for me and the city. Just a little schedule for me. I will be out tomorrow. I haven't had a pre-planned panel discussion that I'm on in Sheridan for the Wild Givers, and so I'll be doing that, and then meeting with city administrator Stu, the last name, but he's the head of the WILD CMA, and so I have an appointment with him tomorrow, but I'll be back Thursday and Friday this week. So with that, stand for any questions.
Did you shoot anything this weekend?
I did not.
I knew you were going hunting.
And passed up on a couple of smaller gentlemen, and then we saw the bull, and kind of he saw us and got out of the area. So Ferris Mountain's safe for me.
Councilmember Sanger.
Stu McCray.
McCray, thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, any questions? All right, we'll move down to city council updates. Does anyone have anything? All right. Moving down to unfinished business, which is the ordinance approving the second reading and waiving the reading of the ordinance amending Title 19. Councilmember Sanger.
I move to approve second reading and waive the reading of the ordinance approving amending Title 19, Section 19.08.285 junk and Section 19.08.290 junk salvage and wreckage yard, adding in Section 19.08.265 impound, Section 19.08.266 impound yard, Section 19.08.603 salvage yard, Section 19.08.721 towing business, Section 19.08.722 towing yard, and Section 19.08.759 wrecking yard and clarifying section 19.28.020 schedule of uses and section 19.4.050 fences.
Second.
Okay, the motion's been made and seconded. I'll turn it over to you first.
Madam Mayor and Honorable Council, this has been an ongoing process for us. We've had several meetings with staff, legal, to try and clarify this up a little bit with the schedule of uses and fences. So it really looks like a lot, but separating some of the definitions out and putting a new definition here and there to accommodate our schedule of uses is basically what we've done with this.
I do have a few questions,
Okay.
Lou. I've had several correspondence about this. The first one that has really come up repeatedly is that grandfather's clause. And the need, if we need it, I think it would add a lot of staff time if you're going to have to figure out when people built their fence and then try to see if they did it prior or after the grandfather clause. I just have some heartburn on that grandfather clause. And I've had probably 3 citizens reach out about that specific issue. And then just eliminating the opaque fences, I kind of struggle with this too as well, just because I feel like we're kind of trying to fix problems that we've never addressed backwards, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? Like, by eliminating it, we're getting rid of the bad actors that haven't done it, instead of, I don't know how to clarify that better. And then the last thing I had some feedback on too was that the need to add state statute for the highway. Steve mentioned it at the last reading, along the interstate, that we might need that state statute just in there, so that we still have that for the interstate piece. So those were the 3 things that I have on my list. Does anybody else have any questions or comments? Vice Mayor Gardner?
With the interstate, or with the using the Wyoming state statute as our guide, if we use that, then my understanding is when that changes, it's just cookie cutter straight to us, unless we have something more restrictive that conflicts with it. But by doing that, then we don't have to, if we make our own, and every time that thing changes, then we got to go fix everything in ours. And I know we do that with some things, but this one seems pretty cut and dry that we could just adopt what they have, which I think is a great idea. When you brought it up last week or 2 weeks ago, at the last meeting. What was the main purpose of all these changes? Were they from specific complaints, legal concerns? What's the big driver of this?
Madam Mayor and Honorable Council, what we were running into on staff side is, without the breaking up of, say, junk salvage and wrecking, it was all combined into one. Mm-hmm. So what you would do is you'd come up and say, well, this needs to be fixed because it falls under this category. Well, they would come back and say this category isn't what we have here. So what we're trying to do is make it clean and cut all across the board to say, okay, I have a junkyard. If we look at the definition of the junkyard, here's what this definition means. So if you have a salvage yard and they say that the salvage yard we have is not a junkyard, then we can look in the definitions and say, no, it falls under this, so here's what the rules you have to abide by.
So our current rules are lacking language that says, junkyard waste, whatever it is. It doesn't specify that in the general, in the big one right now?
Correct.
Okay. Is it okay if I ask some more?
Sure.
Okay. So piggybacking off what Mayor Wells said, or Madam Mayor Wells, sorry, said, what is the plan going forward? Let's say with the grandfather clause, if I have a property and you come in and you say, hey, you need to have a fence or you need to correct your fence, and I say, oh no, I've had it forever. Where are we documenting what people have right now currently so that we can go back and say, yeah, this is what you have and or what you had and you're correct, or no, you need to prove it to us that you had that, or how's that going to work?
Madam Mayor and Councilman Garner, the way we're going to have to track this is any fences that have been put up within the last, say, 6 months. We have true record of them in our office. If we go to some of the other tow yards, say, on the east end, we know that them have been in there, at least I know I've been here for a while. So I know they have been there for a while. So any changes that take place, and it's my understanding that once this proposed change takes place, then that's when I have to have a fence. Person down the street has to have the fence because it's in our ordinance as far as wrecking, salvage, towing, storage units.
So they won't be grandfathered. Let's say they have a wrecking yard and they don't have a fence right now. If we pass this, then they have to put a fence up even though they bought the property.
Madam Mayor and Councilman Garner, we've run into this issue before. We know that there is it's a tow business, but if you go around back and see the junk, the wrecked vehicles that are on the back, yes, it's hid, but we still are going to follow. Here's what it says, and here's what you need to do. And as far as the grandfather clause, we'll enforce this with, okay, mine was put back in 1989. And if we look at the ordinances, when this come out, the original one was 1989. So we have businesses on the west end of town that we know that wasn't a junkyard, but now it's a towing yard as well. So I think that problem there has fixed itself. They purchased property in the industrial area, and that stuff will be gone from the west end and be moved to the industrial side.
What would be the impact if we eliminated that grandfather clause from the?
You know, when we're going through the process, Madam Mayor, we did have tow companies come in, and when we're going through planning and zoning, and the big thing that we hear basically on a daily basis is, if you're going to enforce me to do this, and I want the person down the street to do this. So this is going to give us a little more enforcement on our side. Impact-wise, if you think about it, every company, with the exception of a few, have their vehicles and so forth in an enclosed fence. So we'll have one or two that I think it'll be somewhat of a fiscal impact on them. But if we have it in writing that this is what we're going to do, and we'll visit with these folks, we're not going to say you have to do this tomorrow. You know, we're going to work with them. It's not going to be an overnight deal, and this has been ongoing for a while. So this is what we're looking to do, and is clean cut across the board for everybody. And here's what we're going to do. We'll work with you to get it done and move forward, hopefully.
Any other? Oh, Councilmember Staley.
As far as the OPEC fence, or the enclosed fences on the interstate, and it's thoroughfares roads, that was brought in actually back in, what was it,
9.
No, it was older than that. When they put Interstate 80 in here, that that's a federal law. That is not our law. That is a federal law.
Yeah.
And one thing Madam Mayor and Council, one thing we have to keep in mind is if we look at the zoning map that we have now, we have one tow business out on the interstate, next to the interstate, but the way the city and the county property runs, it's right on that boundary line for that one. So we're getting into them between here and Sinclair again. And that was a process that the county took to eliminate that. So they're coming back, but we as a city have to rely on our boundaries to do what we need to do to follow the ordinance and make it user-friendly for everybody.
Vice Mayor?
So you mentioned towing. So right now, if you have a towing yard, you don't have to have a fence, correct? So I understand.
If you look in the ordinance, one, we do have to have some type of enclosure for that.
Right.
Due to the fact that if somebody gets in, which I know with Chief Ward here, I know that the impound has been broken into because we found cuts along the fence on the west side towards the back of the base spile. So the stuff's happening. They're getting in there. I don't care how tall a fence you put up. If they want something, they're going to get in there and get it.
No, but what my question is so for a towing yard, you have to have a fence for somebody who's doing mechanical work. They tow the vehicles and do the work, and then the vehicles go.
That's where we come into the different definitions.
Okay.
So the different definitions are going to be on our new schedule of uses. So if we consider it an impound yard, that has to be enclosed by a fence no less than 8 foot. They can have an alternative plan if they want to do landscaping, but we also have it in there that it must be maintained. So if you come in and you put trees and it's hiding everything from the roadway, then it has to be maintained to keep that going.
Okay. So right now they don't have to.
No.
So by doing this, they still don't have to, because wouldn't they be grandfathered?
And that's where
I mean, everybody moving forward from the day of the approval would have to, but anybody between 1989 and this new change, 2025, would be.
And where we're running into issues, and Madam Mayor, Councilman Gardner, is the codes are in the book for a reason. And now we're with the task that we have to enforce these, which we should have been doing years and years ago. And we wouldn't be in this situation where we are now to make everything compliant with our ordinance.
And I guess that's where my biggest confusion comes from. Making all these changes, how does it make it more enforceable? Because if we can enforce what we have now, or we can't, or we lacking the enforcement on it, then does, by doing this, all those people that are in there, they're just grandfathered. They get what they have. They get to keep what they have. Correct?
I can look that up and have an answer for you at the next meeting.
That's my biggest.
I just don't want to,
I think
Madam
that's our
Mayor,
biggest
Council.
hurdle is that I don't want to speak for the council, but I know that's my biggest hurdle is if we're not going to hold the others accountable that are already there, then what's the point?
And absolutely, it wouldn't be fair to everybody, so we want to make it to where it's fair for everybody.
Yeah.
And if it means taking the grandfather clause and saying from this date, this is when we need to have this, then that's what we're going to do.
Councilmember Sela?
I hate to say, Lou knows how long this has been going on, and we've got a pile of them in town that know they've got to do this. But this all started, and they're waiting. Now, we finalize before they know what they got to do. I know of 4 or 5 of them waiting to fence the property, just waiting to see what it finalizes. So, I mean, a lot of them are willing to work. They're all ready to work with us, but they want our definition of what we're going to have. Make sense?
Does. I guess my biggest fear is that once we pass this, if you didn't have it up to this date, it doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. You couldn't enforce it on them because this rule was changed after the fact.
Mm-hmm.
As long as it's before 89.
Councilwoman Lemon?
So if there are any fence existing prior to July 1st, 2025, is that the grandfather date? Or is there many dates in there?
No.
Because this one's just for the fence height, correct?
Yes, so Madam Mayor, I'd like to have the answers for you at the next meeting.
Okay.
I just don't want to give any wrong information out, and then
Right.
I will have them dates and get them straight.
Like you said, it'd be difficult, like you said, we have difficulty enforcing what we have. We have people upset, you know, you're asking me to do this, but my neighbor isn't. I don't see those kind of concerns going away. If the neighbor's grandfathered and I'm not, I'm still gonna be pissed.
No,
You
and
know,
I
and we're not
understand.
getting it cleaned up like it's supposed to.
And one thing we have to keep in mind is what we're talking about is commercial C1, commercial C2, and industrial. So residential, it's basically
Right.
going to stay the same. So I would like to have you the answers at the next meeting, and that way I don't give any misinformation to the council.
Can you also get with Panita on that state statute piece too? I mean, Councilmember Shane, who you want to?
So that, what you're referring to, any business utilizing storage lots which face the main thoroughfares of the city and which are visible, don't move it, I'm reading. This is hard enough from this distance. From the roadway shall be enclosed with opaque fencing or a landscaping plan approved by Community Development Department. These include spruce, cedar. Now see, these are state highways. And the state is very clear about what that has to be. And if we do anything less than that, then we're being less strict. And they're very clear about it has to be opaque. You have to cover it up. We can't be able to see inside of it, which is going to be difficult in certain parts of Cedar because you're above it. You're going to see over it anyway. It's
Right.
not anything you can do about that. But it is in the state statute that they're supposed to do that on any state highway. And even if it's a bypass highway, it's still a state highway.
Correct,
So,
Madam Mayor and Council.
I'm just worried, that would be concerning to me to say, we're not going to enforce that on someone when that's state law. That has nothing to do with us.
So, in our ordinance, like I said, our code was drafted in 1989, is some of the dates in there. It would be nice if we could go back to 1989 and say, from this date on. But it's really hard with the state statute. We have to follow what the state statute is.
When was the state statute put in place? So if you go back to when the state statute was created and say, we're going from here.
So everything that I've read, the Lady Bird Act, that was back in
60s,
Even
50s.
Yeah,
late
it was
70s, early
before.
80s.
Yeah.
489.
Yeah, so that's been in effect that long, and I can read that up or bring that up in the state statute next council meeting, and that way we have it, and we can make them changes accordingly.
Councilwoman Lumen.
Just so that my mind's clear on the sequence of events. So you're gonna bring that information to us before we do the third reading. So if we want these changes in the third reading, we can go ahead and do that and approve, right?
And Madam Mayor and Council, and we can do that as we're doing the process, and we'll make changes, and then if Council would like, we could bring the draft copy, and you could see the changes in there that were changed, and we would have them highlighted in a different color
Okay.
as to what Council would like to see in that
And the
ordinance.
changes would be the state law, put it in, and the grandfather clause. And was there one other third thing?
It's just more of a heartache. I can live without it, but yeah.
What was it?
The opaque fences,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
And we are working with the gentleman on the east end with the opaque fence and fencing for his property right now currently,
Okay.
so.
Thank you.
All right. Any further discussion? This is second reading, so we'll go ahead and open online voting, Lynn.
Online voting is open. Online voting has closed. The motion passes with 5 yeas and 1 nay. The 1 nay is Vice Mayor Garner.
All right, moving down to another ordinance to approve the third reading and waive the reading of ordinance pursuant to Rawlins Municipal Code, Chapter 19.8, amendments in section 19.16.020 zoning map, changing the zoning classification from residential R75 to commercial C2 for 12 parcels bound by Spruce Street to north and municipal boundary to the south between 23rd Street and 19th Street. Councilmember Singer.
I'll make the motion, but we've already covered what is within that. It's at the last meeting, we went through that whole entire list, did we not?
Yes.
It was already covered, it's
Yeah.
it's part of public record? Okay, so I'll just do it in the motion itself, and we'll skip reading all of the southwest, east, north, whatever. Okay? I move to approve the third reading and waive the reading of an ordinance pursuant to Rawlins Municipal Code, Chapter 19.8, Amendments, and Section 19.16.020, zoning map, changing the zoning classification from residential R75 to commercial transitional C2 for 12 parcels bounded by Spruce Street to the north and the municipal boundary to the south and between 23rd Street and 19th Street.
Second.
Okay, the motion's been made and seconded to approve third reading and waive the reading of ordinance pursuant to Rawlins Municipal Code, Chapter 19.80. Any discussion? All right. Lynn, will you open online voting, please?
Online voting is open. Online voting is closed. The motion passes with 6 yeas.
Thank you,
Lou.
Madam Mayor and Council.
Thank you.
All right, moving down to new business and the approval of the October 7th council meeting minutes. I don't think you can you?
Oh, that's right, I wasn't here.
Councilmember Patterson.
I move to approve the council meeting minutes of October 7th, 2025 as presented.
Second.
Okay, the motion's been made and seconded to approve council meeting minutes of October 7th, 2025. Any discussion? Lynn, will you open online voting, please?
Online voting is open.
Hold on. I'm almost there.
So close.
So close.
Online voting has closed. The motion passes with 5 yeas and 1 abstain. The 1 abstain is Councilmember Lumen.
All right, moving down to the approval of a new Caterpillar 938 wheel loader bid. Councilwoman Lumen.
I move to award the new 2025 or newer Caterpillar 938 wheel loader landfill bid to Wyoming Machinery Company of Casper, Wyoming in the amount of $404,608.26 with a trade-in value of $15,500 on the City of Rawlins current Caterpillar 928 G serial number DJD 02165 with 15,312 hours with $389,180.26 being the final cost of the new Caterpillar 938 wheeled loader.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, the motion's been made and seconded to award the one new 2025 or newer Caterpillar 938 wheel loader bid. Any discussion? I'll pass it over to you.
Oh, thank you, Madam Mayor, Honorable Council. With our landfill and our DEQ permit, we have to have 2 loaders out there. And like I've talked about in the past, our current loader loses about 4 gallons of oil an hour and is not in really great shape at all. So in August, we went out to bid for the new loader. In our specs, we spec'd a CAT 938 with the landfill package to it. When we got our bids in, we did the review on these loaders. We've got 2 options of it. One from Arnold Machinery and the other one from Wyoming Machinery, which Wyoming Machinery gave us 2 different options within the one bid for a service plan. The one service plan that we came up with, they go by hours per years for service plans. And inside of our bid, that we had a 7-year warranty with 7 years of service. The 7,500 met the bid closer than the 5,000 hour, which would be approximately 5 years. So when we're looking at the bids, we wanted to see who had all the specs in the specific bid, and Wyoming Machinery had all specs within that machine, and Arnold had a few things that did not come with that package. And then at the end of it, with the total, with all the options that we put into the specifications, the Arnold Machinery just came in just a little bit over our budgeted funds that we have for our capital. And so we would like to award this loader bid to Wyoming Machinery.
Any Councilmember Seeloff?
So we've got 7 years that they're going to maintain it.
It's 7,500 hours is what their service contract is. So we figure about 1,000 hours a year approximately of usage. So.
Okay, Councilmember Sanger?
So I don't have a problem with the bid part. I don't understand the bid document. The reason I say that is the Hitachi doesn't have any other numbers beyond its $279,500, and then the next one is with their take back of our old equipment, $260,000. But there's no other numbers after that that says how you got to the 400 and what.
So
I don't know how you get there on these documents.
Okay, so if you look into their machine bid specifications, I don't think they put in a page number on it. It's right before the construction equipment bids. If you look on the bottom side of that, on the service contract, the 5-year or 7,000 hour service plan is going to be $54,650. It was not in the cover sheet where you can see the included numbers in there. So in our bid, we actually put in the service plan. They were to provide a service plan. They did not provide the service plan. It was an additional cost. They also have an additional cost for the snow blower attachment. They have an additional cost for the fork attachment, and then the snowplow pusher attachment. And when you add all of those together, you come up with the $413,000 number.
That's where I'm saying, okay, I got to the 279. Yep, I understand what's going on here. I get the trade-in. Okay, where's all the add-ons? They should be showing right on the top of the bid, so we can go, well, this one's $13,000 over our amount.
It took us a while to review these bids because they really didn't make sense. Where in Wyoming Machinery, they added all of that stuff within their cost and then just separated the trade-in value.
So do we have a document that we specifically use, not them, us, where we go, this is what we need to know? So when we get to the end of it, every one of those pages looks exactly the same to me, and they have a final number on them.
We really do not, actually, for this process. So we fill out, like we said, we have a spec sheet that we provided within the bid, and they went through and provided a yes or no answer. If you look on the Hitachi, right there.
That, yeah.
So that's basically what we provided for the spec of the equipment, and they kind of infill as far as the bottom of the bid as well. So what they provide as their bid is kind of, each company kind of is close, but it's a little bit different. So it takes us a little while to review and see what the actual is on these bids. Because looking at it at face value, the Hitachi is way cheaper, but if that's just actually just the piece of equipment itself with no
that's
service.
What I mean by
yeah.
that. Is that it would make sense that we have a document we're giving it to you.
Well,
you just put your numbers in here and hand us all your paperwork you want.
And
so
that's
when
why
we get it back, we look at it and go, that one's way more expensive than that one. Why? Because we added all these things.
Yeah, and that's kind of with the matrix that we did. We kind of put the two together and tried to make it as general as possible across the board, so you could actually have a better visual of actuals.
Councilmember Seeloff?
So comparing this, buying it, comparing it to leasing it, did we compare that price, or?
It's about the same. It works out to be about the same. What we're finding with our equipment is owning it lasts longer, and we're getting good trade-in value on our equipment. So in talking with City Manager Sarvey, he preferred that we purchase it outright for this piece of equipment, for this specific one.
I know the other ones we lease.
Yep.
So.
Any other discussion? All right, Lynn, will you open online voting, please?
Online voting is open.
One request, how long did it take before we get it?
Ooh, do we have a time frame on the delivery?
Around 3 months they're telling us, but it's 120 days of the
We'll have it time for winter.
We very much hope so, yeah. And expecting what we're expecting this year, it could come at a better time.
For winter.
All right, moving down to,
Madam Mayor.
oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Online voting is closed, the motion
Thank you, Lynn.
passes with 6 yeas.
Thought we'd already done that part. All right, moving down to the approval of recommendation of awarding the Edinburgh Street reconstruction project. Does anyone want to make this motion? Councilwoman Lumen.
Move to award the bid for the Edinburgh Street reconstruction project to Kilgore Companies, LLC, DBA Lewis & Lewis Incorporated, Rock Springs, Wyoming, in the amount of $7,903,100. Contingent on the City of Rawlins signing the professional service agreement from the design engineer firm Western Water Consultants, Inc., WWC, engineering professional services with construction administration not to exceed $640,000 for a total project cost of $8,543,100.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, the motion's been made and seconded to approve, recommend the awarding of the Edinburgh Street reconstruction project. I know we have discussion. I'll let Cody start. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Madam Mayor, Honorable Council. Let's see, in 2019, with the six-penny projects coming up for a vote, this was one of the six-penny projects that the City of Rawlins voted on. It's a complete reconstruction of the Edinburgh Street from Dunfield to Murray Street. That includes utilities, street, sidewalks from basically Dunfield to Murray. We pulled this off the shelf, I believe, last year and started reworking this as inflation costs kept going up and really needing this street to get fixed as it is in very poor condition. So we moved forward on this project in a bid letting. We got two bids back, one from Oftedal, one from Lewis & Lewis. Within our contract with WWC, they did a bid review on that, and looking through the bid tabulations, they have found that Lewis & Lewis is the low bid as well as the competent bidder for this project. Tonight I have with me from WWC Murray Schneider and Jake Schroeder with me.
Oh, wonderful.
So, or Jake Schneider and Murray Schroeder. So, that being said, any kind of discussion, we are open to all discussion in moving this project.
Okay, I'll let Councilmember Seeloff start. He has lots of questions.
Several problems. Like I said before, I'm very unhappy we didn't do like we did with the state on the underpass and have a meeting and go through and explain it all a lot better to all of us. I wish we would have done that, and I thought we were supposed to get to. But I've got a problem with some of it, like the entryways into taking the theater there and into UPS and all that. I believe we need to have rebar or masonry or something in that concrete to hold it, because they ain't never gonna last, just concrete. I'm sure. I've bet money on it. And all. The other problem I have is they're running a planter or whatever thing along the theater out there. And it looks like to me, I understand the theory behind it. They're gathering the water from the theater because there's a lot of pucking area and going into this. But with the design of it, it's just putting it back in the ground right underneath the street. Why don't we have a concrete trough along there that would flow in to contain pipe gutters and dispose of it instead of it going back into the ground? That's the problem I got.
So in one of these details, it actually ties back into the stormwater system. And that landscaped area is defining the two driveways of this very large parking lot in which they have. We don't want people running over the curb and just driving into this parking lot wherever they're at. So it's part of defining the two different driveways. and then also collecting the volume of water that can be flowing off of this parking lot. So it serves a couple different purposes, and then it flows through the ground and into the drainage system and stormwater system that they have designed for us.
But like I say, in my opinion, it's going to end up back in the ground under there. Yes, it's going in there to try to contain it in the under the groundwater deal, which we got in there. But we're trying to get rid of the groundwater now, and we're adding more groundwater off the parking lot in there, in my opinion. And we're going to have a maintenance headache there too. Who's going to maintain this dirt path along here? We can't maintain what we got now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Councilman Seeloff, I agree. We also would like, in new projects, we would like beautification as well as.
Yes, I understand that.
I believe this is just a small thing, and if we use native grasses, that it'll be a low maintenance item, and I think it's easily maintainable, I believe, in the future. As far as the groundwater, we do have systems, and I'll let Jake talk to this. The system as a whole is a collection system of that groundwater. So I believe that any groundwater getting past actually the drain system that is currently going to be built next to that, anything going into the ground will be collected by the drain tiles that are going to be placed in the ground to collect all the groundwater and get it into this new stormwater system.
And we do have fabric that goes, it's H2R fabric, that kind of wicking fabric.
Yeah.
So
I've seen all of
it
that.
is.
I do understand a little bit this stuff, I'm sorry to say. I've been around a bunch of it for years and all, and I'm looking at the problem is if it was a gutter or something that went into drains, that it would get that water right into the pipe instead of putting it in the ground and then trying to catch it in the pipe. And I'm looking at a headache for us to maintain later on. Look at the bushes and stuff, different stuff we got on the entryways. It's hard to keep it maintained. It's a mess. So I'm looking in the future of what headache we're going to get out of it. Is my opinion. I mean.
Okay. Any Councilman Lumen, Woman Lumen.
Just so I'm clear, so when we're tearing up these streets, we're replacing the water and the sewer lines?
Yes, ma'am.
All of it?
Yes. New stormwater system, collection system, all new sanitary sewer, and all new water.
Okay.
Any more? That's it? That's all you have?
Like I say, I'm very unhappy that we didn't have a workshop that we went through. Right? We should have, in my opinion. And I thought we brought it up at one council meeting, and it was said we were supposed to, and then we didn't. So.
Any other questions over there? No? Okay. I think that we're good. Lynn, will you open online voting, please?
Online voting is open. Online voting has closed. The motion passes with 6 yeas.
All right, thank you guys.
Thank you, Madam.
Now, when's the projected start time?
We are getting calls almost weekly on when this is going to move forward so that it can get started. So we're hoping with the notice to proceed happening very soon that we can get crews in and working on details and getting the project moving this winter. So we're very excited about it. Yeah. Thank you.
Great, thank you. All right, moving down to a discussion about providing for the regulation and control of the sale, distribution, possession, and traffic of alcoholic liquor and malt beverages. And I'm going to hand it over to Steve as the presenter.
See there? Thanks. One of those, 2 o'clock in the morning things where you wake up going, we have to find a solution to a problem. So we have a regular meeting. Somebody wants to have a liquor license moved, retail liquor license moved. They find out on Wednesday. We had the meeting on Tuesday. The next time we're going to meet is 2 weeks from there, but their thing is on a Sunday. So we have to have another meeting. We don't have a choice. We have to have another meeting currently the way we do it. So I thought that the state wouldn't punish us to make us have 9 million meetings just because someone forgot to ask to have their liquor 3 weeks out. They're planning their event. And if you ask questions correctly, at some point or another, the internet will give you an answer. And ironically, the answer came from the Carbon County Commissioners, a resolution in 2010. And what they did is they had a resolution of the Board of County Commissioners of the County of Carbon, State of Wyoming, providing for the regulation and control of the sale, distribution, possession, and traffic of alcohol, liquor, and malt beverages. And what they allow for in here, and I think that they give the authority to their clerk to handle malt beverage permits and catering permits. They use the same statutes we do, 12.4.502A, 12.4.502B. They use the same statutes we do. And my curiosity is, and I don't have an opportunity to ask our attorney, but is whether or not we can adopt this entire resolution, just change names and what have you, R&D, rip off and duplicate. So can we do the same exact thing, and whether the state law allows us to do the same thing? I don't have the answer to that particular question. The way the state law is written, it does not specify a county or a municipality having authority to give away their right to do, or their authority to do this work. But the county has held this permit for 15 years. So it seems to me that it would make a lot more sense.
Yes.
That they could walk in the door, go see Lynn. Now, mind you, Lynn would have the right to say no, which is the authority of this entire body to say no. Not that she would, but if they ask nicely and bring cookies, I think that they'll be okay.
No bribes.
You know what I'm saying? So we'll have to find out. So from a discussion standpoint, if you go to page 4 and look under temporary licenses and permits, the Board of County Commissioners of Carbon County is hereby authorized to issue the following temporary license pursuant to state law and this chapter. So it says it's pursuant to state law. They have to do extended club hour permits, anything over 24 hours. Temporary dispensing rooms where they're moving their entire operation, temporary dispensing room permits and fees. The clerk is hereby authorized to issue the following 24-hour permits: malt beverage permit and catering permit as defined by 12.4.502A, 12.4.502B, and then their pricing. I think we would have to check to see if our pricing is the same as theirs, and manipulate whatever we have to in this. So that is the presentation itself. It would make it so much simpler for us that when either one of the mics forgets to come 2 weeks prior to, if our last meeting is when they need to be asking, but they haven't been asked yet, and we just got done with a 3 weeks and a couple day layover, we would still have to come into a meeting. This takes that out of that realm. We would have to give a certain period of time for Lynn to process paperwork and whatever other parts of that would be necessary. Tag, I'm done.
Councilwoman Lumen.
So just to be clear, it would be just for these,
just the 24 hours.
just the moving.
Yeah.
It would not be, the liquor license themselves would still be up to the council.
Always.
To give that.
Right.
Okay.
You're not moving, you're never really moving your liquor license. You're allowing it to be used in 2 places at one time.
Yeah.
Your regular room where you are still dispensing, Mike has a restaurant, the Rifle, either one. They're still dispensing, but they're doing an event.
Yeah.
And what they're doing is they're going to that community, they get a permit from that community to bring their operation there while still maintaining their.
My only question would be to have the lawyer look at it and make sure we're not missing anything in the state law that says, well, city, you have to do it this way regardless.
Right.
Right.
And that's
But if we can do it that way, it'd be wonderful.
Yeah, because we follow the same statutes that they do. It's
Yeah.
not any different. Lynn has to raise her hand and swear her allegiance and what have you, just like the clerk does for the county. The difference is they're elected, she is not, but their requirements are exactly the same. So this would just be a way for us to do this, to solve this particular problem, so that we can support our businesses who want to go and do that work and generate more funds. This is not a bad thing, but it takes it off of us to have to show up in between the end of a second meeting and the first one in the next month.
Yeah.
And somebody comes in and says, I want to do this, can you do it in a week? Well, we would have to show up for that, as opposed to they could come in and just ask the clerk, I need the permit to take my license, and she fills out the paperwork and off it goes, which is what she does anyway. So it's not any different. We just say yes. We just have to be here, and they have to be here. So
We'll start with you, Councilmember Patterson.
So the way I'm understanding it, this is just for the catering permit.
just the 24-hour permits.
Yeah.
Not any other thing is done by them. Just the 24 hours. So if something goes wrong, it's only 24 hours wrong.
I don't know if I like the 24-hour thing, but a catering permit means they're catering for an event, which is what we're talking
Right,
about.
and they're 24 hours. We start at this time, end at this time. That's how long this permit is for. We don't define that time, we just say it's a 24-hour permit.
Which we do anyway.
But that's what we do
Yeah.
anyway. We just do it.
Yeah.
We do it here. It just gives the authority to her to be able to do that. So we don't have to be here to do that.
Like-
And it is only 24 hours.
Yeah. Vice Mayor?
No, what I like about this is the amount of time that we found out goes into this from the staff side, which is
Oh, absolutely.
just to set these meetings up, the cost to advertising and all of that is a tremendous load that, you know, comes off the plate. The one concern I have is not having defined, and it might be in here, I haven't had a chance to read through it, defined rules for your clerk. Because I would hate for her to make the call, because if, let's say, I said yes to this mic, but then I said no to the other mic, and they fell in the same time frame, but for some reason, one was told no, one was told yes. And that framework I would like to see. Is it in there?
No, it's not in this particular one, but I believe, Lynn, you check anyway with our police department if there's ever been a problem, anytime that we have to go, or somebody wants to come here.
I don't.
Do you ever check with them? I mean, because that's what we do. Anytime we're issuing the license, we'll ask the police chief to come up and say, has there been any problems within this thing, da-da-da-da-da. Chances are no. That's why I say be nice, bring cookies.
Well,
Oh,
Yeah.
Just on that topic and in reference to the article that Councilmember Sanger gave to us, I think it's pretty easy to craft a resolution that probably outlines the guidelines that you go out of the curve, but it's hard to make that determination. So she wouldn't be able to pick and choose.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
This person,
Yeah.
that person.
Right.
It would be like, they check these boxes, whether it's police, they need a letter, whatever you want to set in there as obstacles or items that they have to get, to get approval for the permit.
And the biggest reason for it would be to protect her from that, you know.
Accusation.
Yeah, because it's gonna happen, and that's, if she has, yep, you check, and here you go.
Yeah.
And sorry you didn't hit this box.
Police
It's right
check.
there, it's black and white, so.
Maybe taxes
It'd be
paid up.
basically, if she had, would it, like the police chief or dog, that authorization and everything, she's got him in there too besides her, that if he comes in and says no, there are no problems, and she denies it, then he's behind her too, ain't just her. So if we, orient them two together or something in there too, so.
This particular resolution, the county has a permit, an actual permit, that has a lot of material on it where they, of course, they talk about taking something from their county to another county, not from a town to a town. But we've actually been asked to take something from our county to another county before. John Rutherford did.
Yeah.
Asked us to do that. So there is a permit, and on that permit, you can say, yes, the police chief has checked this. Yes, you can just have the list of things on that, on the permit itself. And the city has its own permit for when people come to us and want to host an event. Somebody over in Saratoga wants to come here and do liquor. Here, we have a permit for that process. We don't have a permit to let it go. We have a permit to receive it. But we can probably have one on either side. It wouldn't matter.
So, we all know which ones we're talking about. To take it from one city to the other, both cities have to approve this, correct?
Yes. The other city will provide the permit. We just provide, yes, you can go.
Okay.
And it's the opposite.
I was just wondering about the legality of that. That's why I asked the
No,
question,
that's
so I know what it is.
Normally, you send a letter, correct?
Madam Mayor and Council, so when one of our retailers it's only a retail or resort. We don't have any resorts in the city of Rawlins right now. It's just our retail. They're able to go to another municipality. You guys vote on it. There's a letter that's generated. I have the mayor sign it. Then I give that letter to our retail liquor license. And then they go to the other municipalities. Say they go to the town of Sinclair. Then they go to the town clerk. It's already been approved. The town clerk fills out the form, charges whatever their fee is on that municipality. We do not get a fee. It's strictly on that other municipality where they are actually going. So then that municipality issues them. They have to have the letter first. Our retail liquor license holders cannot just arbitrarily go to a municipality without a letter designated that they have been given authorization from the jurisdiction, which is you 7 members.
That's what I was getting after.
So, to me, it sounds like we have a consensus to bring this to Panita for review and have her do her legal ease, and then we can get it before the council at some point. Everybody good with that?
That's great.
It'd be great.
Thank you, Councilmember Sanger, for your 2 a.m.
2
thoughts.
Gotta be a solution at 2
Because this will be a savior in the end, I'm hoping.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. With no other business to come before this council, I will adjourn this meeting at 7:19 p.m.
I'll stay.
I don't think
This
anybody's
is
sad
so
about
awesome,
that.